Yo, what is up? This is Drino Beats, and in this video we're going to deconstruct how Flamerz Flow by Meek Mill was made in FL Studio. So credit where credit's due, this beat was made by Dat Boi Squeeze as well as 30 Rock. If it sounds familiar, it's the same duo that made by Roddy Ricch. These guys are killing it. Lastly, for any of you guys who are new to this channel, I always try to grade myself before we get started for accuracy purposes. Got really close on this one, 95. I'll take that one. Let me know if you disagree. All right, on to the intro. So getting started, throughout this beat, you have two main melodies playing. One is just a normal one. The other one is essentially just halftime. And you also have an ARP. So the ARP plays throughout the entire beat. The halftime melody as well as the regular melody will just change throughout the beat. I'll have to show you in a different project. Okay, so here are all the melodies onto one pattern, so don't get overwhelmed. For the first melody that comes in at the intro of the beat, just pay attention to these three. So in order to recreate this melody, we're using three plugins. One is Gladiator with the PI Subasa preset, one Impurity, the Brass Section preset, and another one Impurity, the Synth Brass 2 preset. Together, these three will be playing the following notes. So effects for those three, you have, like I said, halftime coming in, cutting out some of the lower and the higher frequencies, and some reverb playing. So I bounced it out to a WAV file. Here's what we got. For the ARP coming in the beginning, we are using Gladiator, the AR Lagaya preset. Here are the notes. I know it sounds nothing like it does in the song, but you take that, bounce it out as a WAV file. First, we just have a regular halftime coming in. Add a second halftime to it, and then also take some of the lower and the higher frequencies out. Okay, and lastly, while we're in this file, I'm going to show you how the main melody is made. So using the same presets that we did with the first melody I showed you, for these three, playing the same note pretty much up an octave. Bounce it out into a WAV file, which you have here. And for effects for this WAV file, it looks like a lot. The main one just being RC20, some phasing fun, as well as just adding some sausage fattener for color and some distortion. All right, now back to the other file. Now that that's out of the way, in the intro, you have the halftime melody playing as well as the ARP. And just for this intro, for the ARP, we are adding an additional halftime being played. Okay, on to the next section. For this section, we are using the regular melody that I showed you all. So altogether, the melody as well as the ARP that is not being halftime sounds like this. All right, so on to the drums. There's a lot going on with the drums and it sounds crazy chaotic. For the snare, we're just using a Cymatics Dominate snare. For effects, we are just boosting some of the higher mid frequencies to make it really stand out and sound really punchy. We have an accompanying snare coming in. We are just using a regular trap snare. Altogether with that Dominate snare. For the hi-hat pattern, we are using one from a Cymatics kit called the Blitz hi-hat. Here's the pattern. And then it repeats. All right, we have two open hats coming in. For the first one, we're using a BWB open hat. We are also using another open hat that hits on the first note. Together, those two open hats sound like this. Moving on to the 808 pattern. For this one, we are using the classic Spins 808. So here's the first 808 pattern in this beat. And again, altogether, drums sound like this. So in this section, everything repeats. You just have some of these snares and the hi-hats cutting out right before the transition. Okay, in this section, we are going back down to the half-timed melody. The ARP stays the same. The drums are essentially the same, except you have one switch up. Instead of the regular accompanying snare, which was the snare 17, the exact same notes for this now switch to a clap. For this, we're using just a BWB clap or a Metro Boomin clap. And here's just how it transitions from the snare to the clap. So in this section, we are still at the half-timed second melody before going back to the regular melody. You have a snare roll that comes in right here. You also have a secondary 808 pattern. So for the snare roll, we are using a snare from a BWV kit. Here is the snare roll pattern. So much chaos, dude, it's crazy. All right, and here's the second 808 pattern. Look how crazy the end of this pattern is, dude. I'll play it one more time just so you guys can hear it. I'm pretty sure this is accurate too. I mean, I listened to it for like 30 minutes before I got it. And without the melodies. All right, so thank you guys so much for watching. I think that's the end of this Deconstructed. Pretty chaotic beat. I mean, one of my favorites, so huge Meek Mill fan. And again, Dat Boi Squeeze and 30 Rock did their thing on this one. If you liked or learned something, please drop a like and a sub. We really appreciate it. Trying to grow the channel. I got more Deconstructors on the way for you guys. Again, appreciate you guys watching. I guess I'll catch you in the next one.